and looking and seeing and what's the difference. And recently, I live not far from the River Thames in London, and we get two tides a day, a high and a low tide, twice a day. And so when the tide is down, it's a wonderful time for mudlarking. I don't know if you have the same phrase. Mudlarking is a Victorian term.
Okay.
And when people in the Victorian times would go and try and find what they could in the Thames, in the sand, and keep the fine. So it's become quite popular as a pastime. You often see families down, and you probably get that with your riverbeds. But the River Thames, it's been such a source of trade and industry. So it's amazing what you do find in the silt.
Yeah.
Recently, I went with some friends and some younger children, and we just went to see what we could see.
Right.
And it really struck me because we were wandering back and we'd been looking, and we had some finds. We had some clay pipes, and I had a couple of sort of nice coloured stones that I liked. Nothing in particular. And on the way back, we bumped into a chap who, I don't know, like Peter, his name was, but he was a professional. He had a metal detector.
Yeah.
And I said, "What have you got in your box there?" And he showed us, and he said, "Oh, gosh, we were all agog with what he had." "Oh, what are these?" "Oh, these are horses' teeth." And I'd never seen shapes like that before. And some Elizabethan musket balls, like little pellets, and tiny. And then these tiny, tiny little pins. It was no way we'd seen anything like this. But we decided to walk back and have a look. We were inspired by what he'd found. And you know what? We found, because we were looking for them, we were actively looking for them. We moved from being passive, looking, to actively seeing. And my goodness, we came back with horses' teeth, all sorts of things that we knew what to look for. Our eyes tuned in. And I just couldn't stop thinking how, when you know what, so if you do a bit of research before your storytelling on a go journey, it's amazing. I was looking at the climate for Texas, and, you've got such a, it's so different from...
It's very different from where you are, yes.
And I was thinking, gosh, what would that list look like? And the kind of research, I was looking up the birds and the trees. And, it was interesting when if you're going out to look for something, it's like, right, we're going to see 10 jackdaws today or 10 eagles. Or do you see, there's real fun in the storytelling on the go, and there's the maths, and there's the working together to find it as well. Which is
I know of people that do, because we're near the ocean, and they go down and they go with their kids. They look for seed pods, because seeds that have fallen off of trees in Africa will actually come all the way here to Texas, and you can find those pods and then teach them in geography where those seeds started from and how far they traveled to get to the beach here. So yeah, there's just so many things. But if you didn't know it was a seed pod, you'd walk right over it and not think anything more of it. So I'm so glad, you brought that up, because it adds a different dimension when you know there's things out there that you can be looking for instead of just anything.
Yes, it's that subtle shift of looking and seeing, and spending a little bit of time to prep up before you go of what you might find. So you get so much more. It's enriched, that trip that you might plan to do, and so then.